The Singapore Grand Prix is just days away, and 3 questions are about to be answered that could define the entire championship. Can McLaren maintain their dominance on high downforce circuits after their Baku disaster? Will Yuki Tsunoda career-defining P6 finish be enough to save his seat at Red Bull? And most critically, is Max Verstappen about to destroy the dreams of both Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri's maiden championship hopes with just 7 races remaining? Because according to Zak Brown himself, one more Piastri DNF could change the entire landscape of the championship, and the data from the last 2 races suggests something unexpected is happening at McLaren right when they need stability the most. Singapore has arrived, and this circuit is unlike anything else on the calendar. The race sits closest to the equator of any Grand Prix, which means even as a night race, drivers are facing extreme temperatures and humidity levels that will torture them for approximately 2 hours of racing. Max Verstappen himself addressed these brutal conditions in recent interviews, explaining the real challenge ahead. If the car is shocking to drive, then yes, it's really hard to keep it in a straight line. But if the car is nice to drive, then it's more about just the physicality of it. He continued, if everything's going well, then you can relax a bit more, and then naturally it's less physical as well. It's for sure always hot and you're sweating a lot, so you have to prepare for that. The numbers tell the story of just how demanding this circuit is. Last year's race was completed in 1 hour, 40 minutes, and 52 seconds. The shortest time ever recorded here. Only 2 Singapore Grand Prix have ever been completed under the 1 hour and 50-minute mark. The layout features predominantly 90-degree corners due to its downtown location, creating a low average speed that keeps drivers in these scorching conditions longer than almost any other race. But the physical challenge isn't the only concern. Throughout Friday's free practice sessions, there's a chance of rain. The same expectation applies to Sunday's race. Considering Singapore's unpredictable climate, nothing is certain about the on-track conditions. Here's where the story takes an intriguing turn. McLaren has been the unmatched leader on high downforce circuits. Their domination at Zandvoort and Hungary gave their rivals little hope that anything would change in Singapore. This should be their weekend, the perfect track to bounce back from their loss of form. But Zak Brown's recent comments reveal something different. Speaking about the championship battle, Brown stated, "We've got to keep doing what we're doing. The Constructors is looking very good. We had a chance to wrap it up in Baku, but let's not talk about Baku." That phrase, "let's not talk about Baku," speaks volumes. McLaren had the chance to potentially seal the Constructors' Championship, and instead they're trying to forget what happened. Brown continued with a telling admission about their approach. "We want our 2 drivers and Max, but we'd like to kind of get him out of there to fight for the championship and just give them equal opportunity and equal equipment, which is what we're doing." The pressure Brown is feeling becomes clear when you look at the mathematics. Oscar Piastri trails by 69 points with 7 races and 3 sprint events remaining. Brown himself acknowledged what Toto Wolff said, one more Piastri DNF could change everything. But here's the critical detail. Brown added that Baku-like weekends are not easily repeatable for a driver who's executed everything perfectly so far. As the source material points out, we cannot forget 2021. Verstappen entered the final race starting on pole with Hamilton beside him in one of the most controversial championship finishes ever. Last year, Brown witnessed firsthand how durable Verstappen is when the pressure intensifies. The core difference? Verstappen doesn't make mistakes under pressure, where that same thing cannot be said for Norris, and as of Baku onwards for Piastri. This isn't speculation. This is what the recent races have demonstrated. Now Verstappen arrives in Singapore with upgrades on the RB21 that need to prove themselves on high downforce circuits. His primary concern, beyond the physical demands, is whether these upgrades will work on this type of circuit. If they do, McLaren's dominance narrative could face its biggest challenge yet. The timing is significant. Red Bull has implemented upgrades that are now seemingly benefiting both of their drivers. This leads us to perhaps the most underrated storyline heading into Singapore. Yuki Tsunoda is fighting for his Formula One career, and Singapore represents a critical opportunity. Coming off a career-high P6 finish in Baku as a Red Bull driver, he managed something crucial, keeping Lando Norris behind him and stealing 2 more points from the Brit. While that might seem like a minor detail, it directly helped Verstappen in the championship fight, even though Norris isn't Verstappen's primary target. The upgrades that are benefiting both Red Bull drivers come at the perfect time for Tsunoda, who needs strong performances in these final races. The stakes for Tsunoda couldn't be higher. It's not just his Red Bull seat hanging in the air, it's his entire career. The source material reveals it's highly unlikely that he will drive in a team in 2026 if it's not with Red Bull. Reports suggest a potential swap with Yuki Tsunoda, where Arvid Lindblad would get another year in Formula 2. However, there's also a significant opportunity that Lindblad could be promoted to RB as early as 2026. This means one thing. Tsunoda is going to give everything in Singapore. At this point, he has nothing to lose. Although his P6 in Baku was impressive, the driver directly ahead of him was Liam Lawson, whose amazing performance perhaps overshadowed Perez's results slightly. While McLaren, Red Bull, and their drivers battle at the front, Ferrari faces a different kind of crisis. The evidence suggests they might struggle in Singapore, not just because of car performance on high downforce circuits, but due to deeper issues. The team has essentially given up on 2025 completely and shifted focus to the first year of new regulations. Additionally, there's intra-team tension that's currently present right now. The Baku GP saw a miscommunication that allowed Hamilton to keep P8. While it didn't change much for Charles Leclerc, it was another proof as to how things need to change rapidly if they want to be understood as serious competitors. Ferrari has already lost second place in the Constructors' Championship as of the last race. It's now pivotal for them to get back on their feet as soon as possible and have this small victory at the end of the season. Singapore should favor McLaren more than any other team. It's the perfect track for them to bounce back. But if they don't, if Verstappen delivers, if Tsunoda continues his Baku form, if the rain adds chaos to an already unpredictable weekend, then we have a genuine championship fight on our hands. The question isn't whether Singapore will be exciting. The question is, which of these storylines will define the race, and which drivers will leave Singapore with their championship hopes intact?